God the ultimate. Anybody? The floor is open.
I can go.
Oh.
God the ultimate. Just as the Supreme Being progressively evolves from the antecedent divinity endowment of the encompassed grand universe potential of energy and personality, so does God, the ultimate eventuality from the potentials of divinity residing in the transcendent time-space domains of the master universe. The actualization.
Oh my God.
I mean, how couldn't that like make you so happy for no apparent reason except that there's no way you can possibly grasp any of this on any level that's available to a human being, I think.
The actualization of ultimate deity signalizes absolute unification of the first experiential Trinity and signifies unifying deity expansion on the second level of creative self-realization. This constitutes the personality power equivalent of the universe experiential deity actualization of paradise, absolute realities on the eventuating levels of transcendent time, space, and values. The completion of such an experiential unfoldment is designed to afford ultimate service destiny for all the time-space creatures who have attained absolute levels through the completed realization of the Supreme Being and by the ministry of God the Sevenfold. God the ultimate is distinctive of personal deity, functioning on the divinity levels of the absolute and on the universe spheres of supertime and transcendent space. The ultimate is a super supreme eventuation of deity. The supreme is the Trinity unification comprehended by finite beings. The ultimate is the unification of the Paradise Trinity comprehended by absolute beings. The Universal Father, through the mechanism of evolutionary deity, is actually engaged in the stupendous and amazing act of personality focalization and power mobilization on their respective universe meaning levels of the divine reality values of the finite, the absolute, and even of the absolute.
Wow.
The first three and past eternal deities of paradise, the universal Father, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit are in the eternal future to be personality complemented by the experiential actualization of associate evolutionary deities. God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and possibly God the Absolute. God the Supreme and God the Ultimate, now evolving in the experiential universes, are not existential. I repeat, God the Supreme and God the Ultimate, now evolving in the experiential universe, are not existential, not past eternal, only future eternal, time space conditioned, and transcendental conditional eternals. They are deities of supreme ultimate and possible supreme ultimate endowments, but they have experienced historic universe origins. They will never have an end, but they do have personalities, beginnings. They are indeed actualizations of eternal and infinite deity potentials, but they themselves are neither unqualified eternal nor infinite. I'm complete, totally complete.
What? Sorry, what's absonite? Is that the next level beyond here?
No, I'm not sure actually.
I still don't get it, but it's just the foreword. So I'm sure, like Cole say, we will talking and
That'll be all right.
chewing very slowly everything.
I'll just have a look if it's if a dictionary can. Yeah, it's not in a dictionary, so it has to be in a URANTIA dictionary.
Yeah, keep saying that.
Mine comes up as the absonite level of reality is characterized by things and beings without beginnings or endings, and by the transcendence of time and space.
Beautiful.
Absonites are not created, they are eventuated. They simply are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we are being introduced to realities. Like this is the new, like we're introduced to what's just not in the human consciousness as like a knowing thing, as the usual. We're introduced to,
But even the difference between supreme and absolute and ultimate is a head spinner, isn't it? Like,
way beyond my pay grade as a brain.
But that's how the brain, that's how the mind expands.
Yeah.
Just introduces you to realities that just wasn't there before.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what it does to the brain, wouldn't it? If there are scans or something.
Yeah.
From after studying the book. Yeah.
Well, if we look at it just the way the URANTIA book talks about it, is that if Bible was the fourth epochal revelation, so you look at it, that was written for like 2000 whatever years, or maybe less. Yeah, was written for that long. So now we are at the precipice of going into this new millennium. I reckon this is for the new millennium, and we're just like babies looking at this concept, going like, what? Which I think at some point this is gonna be like, yeah.
Because even the apostles with Jesus couldn't understand what Jesus was saying half the time. It was just like,
yeah.
And now that knowledge is sort of quite in our consciousness now.
Yeah.
What Jesus, well, a lot of it was. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I see it like that. This is like we're introduced to something that is beyond a human comprehension.
Yeah.
Yet, we are being groomed to kind of like expand our horizons and go like, okay, let's not celebrate something that was a long time ago, but let's have a look at what's available now.
Mm.
It's like people used to fish, they used to fish and work in the fields, and it was all very simple at that time. And now we have next level of complexity that we can embark on.
Shall I read a bit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God the Absolute.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Is it clear?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. There are many features of the eternal reality of the Deity Absolute, which cannot be fully explained to the time-space finite mind.
There you go.
But the actualization of God the Absolute would be in consequence of the unification of the second and experiential Trinity, the Absolute Trinity. This would constitute the experiential realization of absolute divinity.
Mm.
The unification of absolute meanings on absolute levels. But we are not certain regarding the encompassment of all absolute values, since we have at no time been informed that the qualified absolute is the equivalent of the infinite. Super ultimate destinies, wow, are involved in absolute meaning and infinite spirituality. And without both of these unachieved realities, we cannot establish absolute values. God the Absolute is the realization attainment goal of all super absonic beings.
Absolute.
Oh, sorry. My brain's getting mushed.
Yeah.
The words are going, super absonite beings. But the power and personality potential of the Deity Absolute transcends our concept, and we hesitate to discuss those realities which are so far removed from the experiential actualization.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little bit more. The three absolutes. When the combined thought of the Universal Father and the Eternal Son, functioning in the God of action, constituted the creation of the divine and central universe, the Father followed the expression of his thought into the word of his Son and the act of their conjoint executive by differentiating his Havona presence from the potentials of infinity. And these undisclosed infinity potentials remain space concealed in the unqualified absolute and divinely shrouded in the Deity Absolute, while these two become one in the functioning of the Universal Absolute, the unrevealed infinity unity of the Paradise Father. Both potency of cosmic force and potency of spirit force are in process of progressive revelation realization as the enrichment of all reality is affected by the experiential growth and thought, and through the correlation of the experiential with the existential by the universal absolute. By virtue of the what's that word?
Equipoising?
Equiposing presence of the universal absolute, the first source and center, realizes extension of experiential power, enjoys identification with his evolutionary creature, and achieves expansion of experiential deity on the levels of supremacy, ultimacy, and absoluteness.
That
Wow.
word is actually in dictionary, equipose. It says balance of forces or interests, equilibrium, balance, evenness, symmetry, parity, equality, stability, steadiness, poise.
Which word was that?
Equipoise.
Okay.
Balance, equal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep going
Okay.
a little bit. My brain is.
We're nearly there. We do actually.
Yeah.
We could manage today, maybe.
Is the forward quite big and
It's massive.
complicated? Yeah, and complicated.
Yeah, very complicated, but it's like he overwhelms you and then fills in the gaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep overwhelming you. When it is not when it is not possible fully to distinguish the deity absolute from the unqualified absolute, their supposedly combined function or coordinated presence is designated the action of the universal absolute. 1. The deity absolute seems to be the all-powerful activator, while the unqualified absolute appears to be the all-efficient mechanizer of the supremely unified and ultimately coordinated universe of universes. Even universes upon universes, made, making, and yet to be made. The deity absolute cannot, or at least does not, react to any universe situation in the sub-absolute manner. Every response of this absolute to any given situation appears to be made in terms of the welfare of the whole creation of things and beings, not only in its present state of existence, but also in view of the infinite possibilities of all future eternity. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The deity absolute is the potential which was segregated from total infinite reality by the free will choice of the Universal Father, and within which all divinity activities, existential and experiential, take place.
Mm-hmm.
This is the qualified absolute in contradistinction to the unqualified absolute. But the universal absolute is super additive. Additive. Not addictive. But the universal absolute is super additive to both in the encompassment of all absolute potential.
Mm.
Okay, next. Some of it kind of makes sense, and then some of it kind of clicks. I have some sort of comprehension.
Yes.
And then it just goes away, and I have no idea.
Like deep down somewhere, deep down, it just so resonates. I'm like,
yeah,
somehow I'm so relaxed somewhere about when I hear this. It puts something inside of me in peace.
Mm.
Like it reverberates something that maybe has not been
Touched
found yet, touched upon.
for a while.
Yeah, or ever.
Yeah,
Because
like
they talk about the evolving. I mean, Righteous Soul
Mm.
talks about that constantly, evolving, and
Mm.
and it does say eventually that God really does nothing. It's just the sonship that creates, in some way.
Mm.
God simply is. And without action,
We're talking about the Supreme Being, God the Sevenfold, God the Ultimate, God the Absolute. Which
yes,
God?
Oh,
yes.
God knows. God knows.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I got lost. I mean, I remember getting lost, but hey, it's just one God at the end. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. I feel like we're breaking ground right now. I feel like we're breaking ground. We're planting the seed,
Yeah,
and we're just feeding it every week.
yeah. You will see the next chapter is basically it's more readable. It just goes more into like this narrative, and
Yeah.
so it talks about attributes of God. And I mean, first chapter I think is still a bit like whoa out there, but then it goes into like tangible realms where we can go like, oh, I can get this. Like it becomes more narrative. Yeah, this is like
The last video that you shared on the messenger, it was beautiful. In 35 minutes, it's giving us the whole URANTIA book.
Yeah.
It really make a lot of sense. So it helps a lot. It really helps.
He's doing a great job, and just the way the graphics and everything. It really is.
Amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. No matter how many times I watch it, I always go like, wow, Yeah. All right, guys, go ahead. I just need to jump off for a second. Just go ahead. I can hear you.
Shall I go?
Yep.
Okay. 2. The unqualified absolute is non-personal, extra-divine, and undeified. The unqualified absolute is therefore devoid of personality, divinity, and all creator prerogatives. Neither fact nor truth, experience nor revelation, philosophy nor absurdity are able to penetrate the nature and character of this absolute without universe qualification. Let it be made clear that the unqualified absolute is a positive reality pervading the grand universe and currently extending with equal space presence on out into the force activities and pre-material evolutions of the staggering stretches of the space regions beyond the 7 superuniverses. The unqualified absolute is not a mere negativism of philosophic concept predicated on the assumptions of metaphysical sophistries concerning the universality, dominance, and primacy of the unconditioned and the unqualified. The unqualified absolute is a positive universe over control in infinity. This over control is space force unlimited, but is definitely conditioned by the presence of life, mind, spirit, and personality, and is further conditioned by the will reactions and purposeful mandates of the Paradise Trinity. We are convinced that the unqualified absolute is not an undifferentiated and all-pervading influence, comparable either to the pantheistic concepts of metaphysics or to the sometime ether hypothesis of science. The unqualified absolute is force unlimited and deity conditioned, but we do not fully perceive the relation of this absolute to the spirit realities of the universes.
That's kind of cute, isn't it? These guys that are giving us this message saying, like, there are some things we don't understand either.
Yeah.
It just kind of throws it into the next level of kind of like, oh my God, if you guys still not getting that, like, and it's actually mentioned in the book a few times.
Oh.
Like, we can't tell you about this because it's a mystery to us too.
Yeah, a lot of the times with the Jesus, they just said, this is what we can say and this is what we don't know.
Yeah.
The stories of Jesus.
3. The universal absolute, we logically deduce, was inevitable in the universal Father's absolute free will act of differentiating universe realities into deified and undeified, personalizable and non-personalizable values. The universal absolute is the deity phenomenon indicative of the resolution of the tension created by the free will act of thus differentiating universe reality and functions as the associative coordinator of these sum totals of existential potentialities.
See how happy it makes you?
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know, not having a clue what really is, why it's an interesting effect. I wouldn't have thought that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that thing, like I was talking about in the Course of Love yesterday. It's like it dislodges your mind. When your mind gets dislodged from the structures, old structures that are just glued together, when that begins to dissolve in a way, there is a natural joy because you are no longer under tyranny of this limited mind.
Yeah, like it's so far beyond my comprehension that it doesn't matter, nothing matters.
Nothing
sort
matters.
of thing. Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and this natural joy bubbles up. And you don't even know why you're happy, but our essence is a happy essence.
Yeah. It's funny, because the same thing happens in Kung Fu when there's something completely new. I haven't got a clue how to do it, and I'm just trying to follow on with the others. The same thing happens. I just start laughing because it's so far beyond what I can, do. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing.
It's interesting. Yeah.
You also become receptive in that place, like in that place you learn. Like we don't know how Course Miracle works.
Yeah.
For example, we have no clue.
Yeah.
And yet you do it and then suddenly you see things differently. suddenly you actually see the spirit of the other person. You see that, you see the divinity. But it's impossible. And if you can describe it, you're not really looking at it yet. But the key is that every time I see the soul of another person, it makes me indescribably happy within myself. Because to see it, I have to go inside of me where that is. I have to see, you can only see the soul with your soul.
And it's not comprehensible with the mind. So
No, you
yeah.
cannot, because it's amorphous. It's like it's just, you can't put a label on it. You can't nail it to the cross. You can't make it solid. You can, like, now I know. Every time you do, you go, okay. If you know, just read the introduction to URANTIA book, and you will have it. You will have it verified. If you want to verify your knowing and your incredible ability to see, read this, and that will just put you in the right place.
Yeah.
And it becomes, you go back to humble as.
It's funny when sometimes when I read it, I was feeling angry and then just go, no, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to, and then it would kind of like subside, and I was just like, this
can't hold funny. It, can you?
Yeah. Like in the face of this, like, I don't know.
Frustrated was the word, actually.
Frustrated,
yeah.
I'll read a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The tension presence of the universal absolute signifies the adjustment of differential between deity reality and undeified reality.
Can you just give me the number you're reading?
Oh, I haven't got numbers in my head.
1111 brackets 15.1.
Thank you.
I might have to get another copy with numbers.
I can send you a link. It's actually on. There's an awesome link. You can actually go to URANTIA Foundation, and there it is, the whole thing, and it's numbered and it's in order. And I also have a Slovakian right next to it, so when I get really boggled, I can look up and go like, "What?"
Okay.
So it's really quite something.
Would that be helpful for you, Kim? The Slovakian.
No.
Oh yes, very. You never know, that language might have some effect.
It might make more
sense. Imagine translating this.
I know.
Imagine translating, like somebody translating this. I'm going like, I bow down. And the translation is incredible. What I did, I used an AI voice in Czech to put a narration. So I actually put the whole URANTIA book in Czech onto my page. You can listen to it in Czech language with a computer voice, which is actually quite nice.
Oh. It's so precise. So that would be.
And again,
the language is so precise. That would be
precise. Yeah,
challenging, wouldn't it?
Whoever did this was a genius.
And what the hell is deity reality and undeified reality?
It's all coming, darling. It's
Okay, I'll start again. The tension presence of the universal absolute signifies the adjustment of differential between deity reality and undeified reality, inherent in the separation of the dynamics of free will divinity from the statics of unqualified infinity. Maybe I'll stop there. Oh, what's the time? Oh, good.
You still have time.
Yeah.
Always remember, potential infinity. Yeah, always remember this. Of course, it says lesson 189. Remember only this, or simply do this. Forget everything you think you know. Potential infinity is absolute and inseparable from eternity. Actually, there is a page. I need to find it again. There's a page that is a Course in Miracles URANTIA page. Like, there is a bunch of people who are talking, who are reading Course in Miracles and URANTIA book.
Oh.
And finding comparisons and finding the... Because you will see it, particularly if you read, or listen to the last section, which is the life of Jesus. It's so incredibly tangible to see how he evolves. And he is evolving because he's talking about, my time has not come yet. I am not ready to tell you what's what. My time is not. It's like, tell us, no, my time has not come yet. And then at some point he goes, my time has come. And then he begins to talk in the way the Course is written.
Oh.
Suddenly there is so much similarity to Course in Miracles and this. It's like the language kicks in. In my view, I could be completely wrong, but I go like, wow, this is so like Course.
You know, I felt that too.
Before that, huh?
I felt like that too. It's very similar.
Yeah. There will be so many things in there that it's just like, you just go like, yeah, I know this. We're done enough, you know? Yeah. Yeah, hardest thing is for me to find where I was. So always remember, right, here we go. Potential infinity is absolute and inseparable from eternity. It's good to know.
That's potential infinity.
Yeah. Actual infinity in time can never be anything but partial and must therefore be non-absolute. Neither can infinity of actual personality be absolute except in unqualified deity. And it is the differential of infinity potential, the unqualified absolute, and the deity absolute that eternalizes the absolute, universal absolute, thereby making it cosmically possible to have material universes in space and spiritually possible to have finite personalities in time.
Wow.
Yeah, but so good, isn't it? Like, oh, it was like a kiss from God. The finite can coexist in the cosmos along with the infinite only because the associative presence of the universal absolute so perfectly equalizes the tension between time and eternity, finity and infinity, reality potential and reality actuality, paradise and space, man and God. Associatively, the universal absolute continues to... Sorry, what did you say again?
You said continues, but it says constitutes.
Constitutes, thank you, the identification of the zone of progressing evolutionary reality existent in the time-space and in a transcended time-space universe of sub-infinite deity manifestation. The universal absolute is the potential of the static dynamic deity functionality realizable on time eternity levels as finite absolute values and as possible of experiential existential approach. This incomprehensible aspect of deity may be static, potential, and associative, but is not experientially creative. So glad he gives us this definition. Or evolution, no, as concerns the intelligent personalities now functioning in the master universe. Wow. The absolute, the two absolutes, qualified and unqualified, whatever that means, while so apparently divergent in function as they may be observed by mind creatures as perfectly and divinely unified by the universal absolute. In the last analysis and in the final comprehension, all three are one, absolute. on
sub-infinite.
Yeah, thank you. I just couldn't get my head around it. Levels, they are functionally differentiated, but in infinity, they are one. We never use the term the absolute as a negation of what?
Ought.
Mm-hmm. Or as a denial of anything. Wow. Neither do we regard the universal absolute as a self-determinative, a sort of pantheistic or impersonal deity. The absolute in all that pertains to universe personality is strictly deity limited.
Trinity.
Trinity, sorry, is Trinity limited and deity dominated.
Holy moly.
I've only got one more chapter to go. One more. The last one, the Trinities.
Yes, let's do it. Kevin, you want to take us home, brother?
The Trinities. The original and eternal Paradise Trinity, existential and was inevitable. This never-beginning Trinity was inherent in the fact of the differentiation of the personal and the non-personal by the Father's unfettered will and factualized when his personal will coordinating these dual realities by mind. The post-Havana Trinities are experiential, are inherent in the creation of two sub-absolute and evolutional levels of power personality manifestation in the master universe. The Paradise Trinity, the eternal deity union of the universal Father, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit, is existential in actuality, but all potentials are experiential. Therefore, does this Trinity constitute the only deity reality embracing infinity, and therefore do there occur the universal phenomena of the actualization of God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and God the Absolute. The first and second experiential trinities, the post-Havana trinities, cannot be infinite because they embrace derived deities. Deities evolved by the experiential actualization of realities created or eventuated by the existential Paradise Trinity. Infinity of divinity is being ever enriched, if not enlarged, by finity and absonity of creature and creator experience. Trinities and truths of relationship and facts of coordinate deity manifestation. Trinity, I did read that wrong. Trinities are truths of relationship and facts of coordinate deity manifestation. Trinity functions encompass deity realities, and deity realities always seek realization and manifestation of impersonalization. God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and even God the Absolute are therefore divine inevitabilities. These three experiential deities were potential in the existential Trinity, the Paradise Trinity, but their universe emergence as personalities of power is dependent in part on their own experiential functioning in the universes of power and personality, and in part on the experiential achievements of the post-Havana creators, and trinities. And I don't know how I can even read this stuff.
And again?
I don't even know how I can read this stuff. I get tongue twisted.
Yeah.
We all do.
In reading, but I get like that with reading simple stuff, so I don't know how I'm even getting through this.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes I'm surprised how well I'm reading all this.
Same.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm reading this and it's like...
Power of God's behind you, brother.
The two post-Havana trinities, the ultimate and the absolute experiential trinities, are not now fully manifest. They are in process of universe realization. These deity associations may be described as follows. 1. The ultimate trinity, now evolving, will eventually consist of the Supreme Being, the Supreme Creator Personalities, and the Absolute Architects of the Master Universe, those unique universe planners who are neither creators nor creatures. God, the ultimate, will eventually and inevitably powerize and personalize as the deity consequence of the unification of this experiential ultimate trinity in the expanding arena of the well-nigh limitless Master Universe. 2. The Absolute Trinity, the second experiential trinity, now in process of actualization, will consist of God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and the unrevealed consummator of universe destiny. This trinity functions on both personal and superpersonal levels, even to the borders of the non-personal, and its unification in universality would experientialize absolute deity. The ultimate Trinity is experientially unifying in completion, but we truly doubt the possibilities of such full unification of the absolute Trinity. Our concept, however, of the eternal Paradise Trinity is an ever-present reminder that deity trinitization may accomplish what is otherwise non-attainable. Hence, do we postulate the sometime appearance of supreme ultimate and the possible trinitization, factualization of God the Absolute. Philosophers of the universe postulate a trinity of trinities, an existential, experiential trinity infinite, but they are not able to envisage its personalization. Possibly it would equivalate to the person of the universal Father on the conceptual level of the I Am. But irrespective of all this, the original Paradise Trinity is potentially infinite, since the universal Father actually is infinite. Acknowledgement. In formulating the succeeding presentations having to do with the portrayal of the character of the universal Father and the nature of his paradise associates, together with an attempted description of the perfect central universe and the encircling 7 superuniverses, we are to be guided by the mandate of the superuniverse rulers, which directs that we shall, in all our efforts to reveal truth and coordinate essential knowledge, give preference to the highest existing human concepts pertaining to the subjects to be presented. We may resort to pure revelation only when the concept of this presentation has had no adequate previous expression by the human mind. Someone else can take over now. It's longer than I thought.
Again, Luda. Successive planetary revelations of divine truth invariably embrace the highest existing concept of spiritual values as a part of the new and enhanced coordination of planetary knowledge. Accordingly, in making these presentations about God and his universe associates, we have selected as the basis of these papers more than 1,000 human concepts representing the highest and most advanced planetary knowledge of spiritual values and universe meanings, wherein these human concepts assembled from the God-knowing mortals of the past and the present are inadequate to portray the truth as we are directed to reveal it. We will unhesitatingly supplement them for this purpose, drawing upon our own superior knowledge of the reality and divinity of the Paradise Deities and their transcendental residential universe. We are fully cognizant of the difficulties of our assignment. We recognize the impossibility of fully translating the language of the concepts of divinity and eternity into the symbols of the language of the finite concepts of the mortal mind. But we know that there dwells within the human mind a fragment of God, and that there sojourns with the human soul the Spirit of truth. And we further know that these spirit forces conspire to enable material men to grasp the reality of spiritual values and to comprehend the philosophy of universe meanings. But even more certainly, We know that these spirits of the divine presence are able to assist men in the spiritual appropriation of all truth, contributory to the enhancement of the ever-progressive reality of personal religious experience, God consciousness. Well, so far, for me, it's just pure, it's not pure Mormon doctrine, Mormon church. Well, I can say the Mormon church got all that information from here and make a religion, because it is a lot of secrets in the Mormon religion that is not for everybody. You had to work to get to the highest levels. You had to really work, and it's secret. It's like dimensions. And I'm like, you had to keep paying, Robin, 10%, and you had to work 24/7 for the church in order for you to get to heaven. And I'm like, this is just business, pure business, because God, in reality,
Yeah, of course,
is pure spirit.
Yeah.
So is that the religion you grew up with, Mormon?
No, I didn't grow up in the Mormon, but I was very active in the Mormon. When I start looking, I was very happy with our religion. I was happy. But my daughter, my oldest daughter, she was the one asking me about God. And I'm like, that's when I start. I was 23, 24 when I start looking for the truth. And well, let's see what's going on. And I jumped from one religion to another one, till I got hooked up with the Mormon church. But all this stuff that I'm reading, I can find it there. But still, even the Jehovah's Witness, they had the same system too. Secret.
Mm.
And it's available to us through the Spirit. Yeah, so I like it. I really like it. All this stuff. So, thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
One more paragraph. Indicted by an Orvonton Divine Counselor, Chief of the Corps of Superuniverse Personalities, assigned to portray on URANTIA the truth concerning the Paradise Deities and the universe of universes.
Yeah. Each paper will have some those who delivered it. It's never the same person. Like there are many of them that put this together. Anyway, that was great, guys. Look at this timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for Kim to depart on time.
Thanks, everyone.
A smile on her face and joy in her heart. We will be with you, darling. May the force be with you when you do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was also, thanks, guys. That's really amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's cool.
Looking forward to part 1.
Yeah, let us know how you went.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
See you all.
See you guys.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.